The carpet is warm under your shoes at desert dawn. A dealer snaps the felt, breath steady, sleeves neat, eyes calm. Elevators exhale guests into a lobby that never sleeps. Coffee hisses, ice buckets clink, slot chairs squeak in chorus. Housekeeping carts whisper past doors like quiet submarines turning corners. Back of house hums like a hidden, cheerful power plant. Security nods, radios low, watching everything and nothing at once. Cooks test burners, taste stock, tap timers with knuckles. An engineer studies a panel, one stubborn light blinking. A cage clerk counts chips, breathes out, seals another tray. You feel the rhythm before you ever see the bill. Here's the question we're answering with zero fluff today. What does it actually cost to run this entire place? Not rumors or myths, but dollars that move today. One clean figure said once, then we keep moving. About $280,000 per day to keep this running. Say it once, let it land, hold it in mind. Now open 2 loops and keep your curiosity high. First, where the money truly goes hour by hour. Hands, screens, tools, voices, corridors, quiet drains, constant choices. Second, the hidden levers that quietly bend the total. Heat, schedules, and event gravity pulling operations sideways. Tiny changes that feel small but land heavy everywhere. We'll keep it human, cinematic, and ruthlessly clear. No number salad, no jargon, no filler, ever. 7 buckets, clean, from biggest to smallest, once each. 3 tiny experiments that tilt a day without drama, then a final receipt you can screenshot and keep. You'll hear each key number exactly once when it matters. You won't hear it again until the final receipt. That keeps your brain clear and the math clean. Ready to step behind the curtain and actually listen? Smell the fryer warming up. Hear chips breathing softly. Feel the air drop as revolving doors slice the lobby. Watch a bell cart glide like a tugboat on carpet. Hear a supervisor's pen click precisely at shift change. Count the tiny motions that quietly cost real money. We're going room by room, moment by moment, focused, tracing the pulse without losing the plot or pace. Nothing here is random, not even silence or smiles. Every comfort you feel has a meter spinning somewhere. Every smile you get runs on an exact schedule. A city inside a building needs a real budget. All right, sleeves up, radio on, let's begin. 7 buckets, 3 levers, 9 moments, 1 receipt. Stay and you'll watch money move with purpose. Stay and you'll finish sharper than you started. Follow the dollars without drowning in digits. Track friction, waste, timing, and grace in motion. Eyes open, pace fast, voice calm, specific. We'll be exact, never sensational, always practical. Totals parked until the very end, no spoilers. Figures earned with lived, verifiable scenes only. First stop is people, always the people. People make the lights worth turning on. People turn a building into an experience. People move every other line on the ledger. Today we count the real way it happens. Walk with me through 7 buckets that interlock. Then 3 experiments that press the system. Then the receipt that ties every promise together. Before we step, consider a truth you already feel. Every miracle on stage needs a quiet sacrifice backstage. Every perfect moment hides messy prep behind. Effortless is heavy, timed, and relentlessly rehearsed. Every dollar is a vote for comfort and control. Every vote must be counted once, honestly, in daylight. This episode follows the people who make the promise real. No logos, no tags, just living craft in motion. No jargon, only the language of hands and decisions. No number floods, only necessary figures that matter. We'll show stakes, buffers, and the cost of delay. We'll show how seconds become dollars and memories. Peek through a staff door past a polite sign. Smell detergent, lemon, ink, oiled gears, marinade. See uniforms waiting like quiet, ironed soldiers. See a clock that never blinks, only precision. Feel the floor change from carpet to gritty epoxy. Feel how the back hallway swallows noise like a studio. This is the part you rarely notice but depend on. This is the map we'll walk with urgency and care. This is the difference between spectacle and reliability. We begin with hands, not spreadsheets, because hands decide outcomes. We begin with people, not machines, because people steer machines. We begin with attention, because attention prevents expensive surprises. No fluff, no recycled myths, no shortcuts or tricks. Just deliberate pacing, honest scenes, earned payoffs. If you stay, you'll never see a lobby the same. If you stay, you'll catch invisible work in plain sight. If you stay, you'll hear costs whisper beneath applause. Ready to meet the heartbeat and watch discipline print delight? Good. Let's open the door, say hello, and start counting. You clock in beside a veteran dealer tightening a tie. People are the heartbeat, the handshakes, the fixes, the grace. Supervisors, dealers, cooks, bartenders, housekeepers, engineers, EMTs. Benefits, training, paid time, compliance, cross-training, backfill. Bodies aren't batteries. Attention, timing, and safety are staffed. Payroll becomes consistency, minute by minute, shift after shift. Shadow teams cover vacations, so service never stutters. Breaks are scheduled like choreography to keep smiles fresh. The headline for people once only, $952,000 day. Bank it mentally. We won't repeat it until the receipt. Move with me. The table is already calling. A tech rolls a cart to a stubborn shoe quietly. Gaming operations beyond labor hide in plain sight. Cards and dice wear out like tires on asphalt. Shufflers need parts. Tables need fresh felt and layouts. Cameras stare forever and still demand replacements. Licenses renew, audits happen, systems keep score. Edge management costs money even when luck smiles. Bill validators jam at 2 a.m. and want care. Chips chip, layouts fade, surveillance storage grows nightly. Headline for gaming ops non-labor once, $428,400 day. Hold it. No echoes until the final receipt. A prep cook cracks eggs with a relentless rhythm. Food and beverage look simple until timing snaps. Fresh deliveries before sunrise, cold chain, spoilage, waste. Grease traps, dish pits, glassware, and ice by the ton. Guests eat with their eyes and expect right now service. That expectation needs backups, par levels, and slack. Menus turn, stations reset, waste logs keep habits honest. Bar mats soak stories. Keg lines crave cleaning schedules. Headline for food and beverage once, $285,600 day. Mark it once, then keep the line moving. Housekeeping pulls linens like white sails from bins. Rooms are a factory with velvet curtains and smiles. Shams, sheets, towels, amenities, vacuums, and chemicals. Laundry runs hot. Dryers breathe hard. Water runs fast. Turn times tighten when lobbies swell with luggage. Precision is purchased so guests relax on arrival. Supervisors walk the last 10 rooms with flashlight eyes. Lost and found gets tagged like evidence to protect trust. Rooms headline, once and only once, $238,000 day. Log it. We'll revisit at the receipt, not sooner. Marketing whispers through offers you barely notice. Notifications nudge. A host remembers an anniversary. Loyalty points stack. Comps land like cushions. Billboards, digital placements, packages, tireless CRM. Quiet gravity fills rooms before they empty. Comps are internal costs here, not counter revenue. Hosts track preferences like librarians of memory. The best pitch feels like a favor, not a sale. Marketing and comps headline once, $214,200 day. Note it and keep walking past the posters. A maintenance lead thumbs a clipboard, points upward. Behind chandeliers lives a preventive checklist, relentless. Preventive maintenance prevents emergencies most days. Filters, belts, bearings, pumps, valves, sensors. A tiny leak becomes a swollen wall by morning. Schedule the pain or pay panic prices later. Night shift paints edges guests will never notice consciously. Morning shift logs temperatures that hint at tomorrow's failures. Maintenance and CapEx reserve headline once, $211,800 a day. Tuck it away, not repeated until the receipt. Stand near a loading dock at desert noon. Air sings from compressor rooms out back. Utilities look small until the heat sits heavy. Power for light, chillers for air, water everywhere. Waste hauling, recycling, grease capture, sewer fees. Sensors trim usage but never down to zero. Every cool lobby is a daily promise kept. Steam lines sigh. Cooling towers mist. Meters tick quietly. Utilities headline, clean statement only, 50,000 day. That's the final bucket. Our cost tour ends. Step back and feel how the 7 interlock. People lift everything. Operations keep the game honest. Food feeds energy. Rooms reset humans for moments. Marketing pulls the crowd. Maintenance protects the stage. Utilities keep comfort believable when the desert bites. This is 80% story and 20% numbers. By design. Curious which small levers tilt all 7 without warning? Good. Once you feel them, daily choices get sharper. Lever 1 lives in the air you're breathing right now. Touch the lobby glass at noon and feel heat pushing inward. You don't notice it until the air grows heavier and slower. Chillers groan longer, fans grip harder, compressors hold without blinking. Kitchen hoods pull more air and back of house warms like toast. Guests open doors like bellows, and the lobby inhales desert. Comfort is a promise. The building keeps it without complaining. But holding comfort means filters clog sooner and bearings whisper earlier. Coils want cleaning ahead of schedule. Belts beg for a spare. You feel it as building fatigue, not alarms or headlines. It's a headwind you pedal against while smiling at guests. You trim set points a hair, shade glass and stage ice deeper. Engineering staggers starts to avoid peaks like a conductor with power. Security nudges lines indoors to take doors off the bellows. Stewards flood dish pits earlier to cool hot stations gently. Everyone trades micro moments of prep for macro moments of calm later. That's lever 1, electricity price and raw heat load, embodied. You pull it by anticipating, not reacting, by smoothing, not spiking. When you hold the promise, you also hold the day together. Lever 2 hides inside timing, where minutes masquerade as free. Stand at the podium during a surprise early arrival wave and listen. When business bunches, shifts bunch, chores bunch, buffers vanish politely. Rooms stack, turns tighten, carts sprint, elevators feel suddenly smaller. Overtime appears not as greed, but as necessary oxygen for service. Late checkouts collide with early upgrades and special requests bravely. Laundry fights the clock, kitchens tap backups, bars stretch par levels. Managers pull supervisors from projects to run the line with grace. You feel this lever as tempo, not panic or chaos. Careful minutes evaporate from buffers, then systems breathe harder. A tiny percentage shift writes fatigue into people by midnight. Fatigue writes tomorrow's repairs, misses, and reviews with invisible ink. Compression looks like a scheduling wrinkle but touches everything else. Solve it with staggered waves, sharper pacing, and honest limits today. Protect buffers like assets because they quietly buy quality tomorrow. You don't advertise buffers, but you feel their absence immediately. The smartest calendars carry slack like a hidden safety harness. The best teams end shifts with breath left for tomorrow. Lever 2 is occupancy mix and scheduling compression, fully human. Pull it by defending buffers and celebrating boring on-time handoffs. Lever 3 rolls down the corridor as base you can't ignore. A headline event bends traffic, appetite, and attention across the property. Security spreads, line control thickens, hosts stay closer to anchors. Bars lean forward, kitchens stage late pushes, dish pits brace hard, comps burn a little hotter to keep whales and regulars feeling seen. Servers memorize names, not orders, because loyalty outruns any menu. The floor vibrates with anticipation and practiced control, like a drum line. Everyone moves a half step faster without losing grace or consent. Replenishment runs later. Schedules stretch just enough to hold dignity. Tomorrow's maintenance list quietly grows a line or two longer. The lever isn't good or bad, it's power needing direction. Pull it careless, and celebration becomes tomorrow's exhaustion pile. Pull it wisely, and buzz turns into repeat visits effortlessly. That takes pre-staged ice, rotated staff, staggered service windows, and pacing. It takes a host who can land a message like a feather. It takes surveillance counting bodies as calmly as chips at midnight. It takes managers who protect no as much as yes politely. Event gravity and comps burn are the lever, twin rails together. You ride them by trading generosity today for gravity tomorrow. Now look at the 3 levers as one connected rhythm. Heat pushes harder, schedules compress, Events call louder on weekends. The building can't choose the weather, but it can choose choreography. Buffers buffer, shades, rotations rotate, nothing heroic, everything intentional. Small inputs ripple outward, touching two other costs without announcement. That's systems thinking. Every change talks to two neighbors quietly. You plan like an engineer, walk like a host, listen like security. You teach why so people can improvise how when needed. You measure boredom positively because boredom means no fires burned. You end the day with dignity left for tomorrow's day, ready to watch all three levers play a single breathing score. Good. Let's run the clock once from pre-dawn to deep night together. 4:30 a.m. The building exhales and inhales again softly. Overnights hand off like relay batons across a polished counter. Keys, floats, checklists, and a few tired jokes exchange hands. People stabilize morning before guests feel a single bump. A supervisor stretches, smiles, and sets tempo with a nod. Lever 2 whispers here. Pacing for the first wave matters. 6 a.m. Kitchens wake the house with steel and steam. Trucks back in. Cold air spills. Walk-ins swallow labeled boxes. Hoods roar. Ranges glow. Fryers whisper their warning heat. Prep cooks count minutes like currency. Stewards stage dish rivers. You pay to be ready before anyone orders a thing. Lever 1 breathes here. Exhaust tugs the chillers awake early. 8 a.m. Elevators open. Carts roll. Doors click repeatedly. Housekeeping maps floors like chess and runs rehearsed plays efficiently. Linen mountains move. Amenities restock. Vacuums sing a steady note. Laundry drums pound a hot metallic rhythm through concrete. Turn time is king. The clock keeps score out loud. Lever 2 prods again whenever occupancy bunches into tight corridors. 10:30 a.m. The tech cart stops by table games quietly. Shufflers open their mouths, belts and rollers exposed neatly. A camera blinks out and gets replaced like a bulb. Software pings confirm compliance without raising any eyebrows today. Operations stay honest because maintenance stays calmly ahead always. Lever 3's shadow lingers. More bodies demand tighter checks everywhere. 1 p.m. A sun becomes a hammer across deck chairs outside. Day clubs wake lifeguards, security, bartenders, and EMS in sync. Ice runs multiply. Glass needs polishing. Radios chatter constantly. Doormen pace entrances. Hosts slide conversations indoors tactfully. Comfort remains expensive, but the promise is non-negotiable today. Lever 1 leans in. Heat makes effort feel heavier. 4 p.m. The lobby swells like a tide around pillars. Bell carts parade. Towels vanish. Front desk sings in harmony. Upgrades dance with inventory. Back office watches pacing carefully. Housekeeping sprints the last turns before dusk with precision. A single missed room ripples through lines like a pebble. Lever 2 pushes hard if check-ins stack beyond planned waves. 7 p.m. Dining rooms open like theaters at curtain call. Backstage crews plate miracles on ordinary plates with poise. Stewards keep the dish river from bursting its banks. Hosts smooth edges while servers glide through narrow lanes smoothly. The room hums when timing clicks like well-tuned gears. Lever 3 peeks in as pre-show crowds gather hopefully. 10 p.m. Gaming peaks as lights sharpen and ears tune. Dealers lock in. Supervisors orbit. Eyes practice patient patterns. Surveillance watches rhythms, not moments, like a metronome precisely. Count teams, stage seals, trays, maps, and doors on time. This is choreography built from repetition, discipline, and trust nightly. Lever 3 goes full voice during headline nights across town. Midnight bars pulse softer while late diners appear unhurried. Back-of-house restocks. Night crews load quiet stations steadily. Engineering checks temperatures, pressures, and wandering alarms deliberately. Small fixes now prevent ugly surprises before sunrise entirely. Heat finally loosens its grip outside the glass doors. Lever 1 relaxes, and systems breathe in measured relief. 2 a.m. And the deep clean starts with a tired grin. Cage balances and reconciles loops you never see publicly. Chemicals meet corners. Mops relearn the floor patiently again. Escalators rest, then wake for another inspection before dawn. The city resets without boasting about the heavy effort. Lever 2 eases as schedules widen. Buffers grow back quietly. 4 a.m. Bakeries whisper awake. Fresh dough meets hot steel. Pre-dawn is a soft rehearsal for the opening notes again. Someone checks a coil that complained earlier tonight discreetly. Someone tightens a checklist that saved minutes this afternoon already. Those tiny acts echo as tomorrow's stability and calm daily. All 3 levers align into a balanced glide path for morning. That's the day end to end, not glamorous, always exacting work. Every timestamp touches heat, timing, or gravity in some proportion. Costs don't spike randomly. They follow tempo and promise together. And the fastest way to spend less is smoother timing. The fastest way to keep promises is to protect buffers. The fastest way to avoid emergencies is preventive attention today. Ready to see how small changes actually rewrite the total? Good. Let's run 3 tiny experiments and feel them bite cleanly. Tiny experiment A. A heat wave sits on the valley all week. Guests still expect lobbies cool and rooms crisp without negotiation. Engines push longer. Water runs harder. Filters choke sooner visibly. Maintenance adds preventive checks to stay ahead of failure decisively. Security and EMS hover closer to keep people genuinely safe. Service slows a touch because bodies protect bodies carefully now. You feel tension in schedules without panic, just responsible pacing. Crews pre-stage ice deeper, rotate brakes, shorten sun exposure windows. Hosts shift lines indoors, nudge guests toward shade with humor. Doormen pace doors like bellows to steady the lobby's breath. Engineering staggers starts to avoid peaks and surprise demand spikes. Stewards flood dish pits earlier to cool hot stations gently. Laundry trims loads earlier to make room for late turns. Managers flex cross-trained staff to keep buffers from collapsing completely. Nothing heroic, just relentless small moves that add up quietly. The building holds the promise by spending endurance deliberately. New day total said once only, 2,522,800 day. Delta versus base said once only, $142,800 today. Guests feel cooler air and steadier service under pressure. They don't see the scramble, which means the plan worked. Unit cost per guest rises, but satisfaction holds its line. Curiosity Q. What happens when pressure drops instead of climbing? Tiny experiment. B. A soft weekday with thinner occupancy everywhere. Fewer arrivals, fewer turns, more breathing room across schedules thoughtfully. Teams stretch dollars by stretching minutes without added stress anywhere. Kitchens trim prep, laundry cycles fewer loads, buffers actually grow. Supervisors finally tackle deferred tidy-ups and lingering quality projects calmly. The building breathes slower and nothing feels rushed anymore here. Training moments multiply because leaders suddenly have 10 extra minutes. Maintenance closes small loops that would become loud loops later. Security walks longer, slower rounds and catches minor risks early. The front desk converts attention into gratitude with 0 overtime. New day total, clean and single, 2,230,400 day. Delta versus base, clean and single, $166,600 today. Guests feel extra attention, open spaces, and faster answers everywhere. Some revenue shifts to tomorrow, but reputation banks interest quietly. Unit cost per guest improves while the day total slides gently. Curiosity Q. What flips when gravity spikes for one huge night? Tiny experiment. C. A big fight night pulls gravity across town. Hosts sharpen lists. Security widens rings around entries proactively. Bars lean forward. Kitchens stage late pushes. Dish pits brace. Comps burn a little hotter to keep anchors anchored immovably. The floor vibrates with anticipation and practiced control together. Everyone moves a half step faster without losing grace. Replenishment runs later. Schedules stretch just enough to hold. Tomorrow's maintenance list grows a line or two longer quietly. The building dances on thinner buffers and steady, trained nerves. Surveillance counts bodies with the same calm used for chips. VIP corridors run like airports, clear and courteously strict tonight. Noise maps stretch. Crowds surge and then breathe on cue. Hosts redirect overflow with hand signals and kindness, not whistles. The room feels larger because timing keeps paths untangled perfectly. New day total once and only once, $2,487 $100 day. Delta versus base once and only once, $107 $100 tonight. Guests feel buzz, lines, generosity, presence, and controlled urgency. They also feel protected, guided, and quietly prioritized throughout. Revenue rejoices. Operations pay a small fatigue tax tomorrow. Unit cost per guest improves as gravity concentrates spending decisively. 3 experiments, 1 lesson repeated 3 different ways today. Heat makes air heavier, and heavier air multiplies effort silently. Occupancy shifts turn minutes into money with shocking efficiency. Event gravity trades adrenaline for workload and then asks interest. None of this is accidental. All of it is steerable deliberately. That's the craft. Align promise, pacing, protection, and recovery windows. When you plan for tomorrow's breath, tonight's promise stays honest. When you honor buffers, people end shifts with dignity left. When you land comps as hospitality, loyalty sticks beyond headlines. You don't have to outspend pressure if you outsequence it. Ready for one clean page that turns scenes into totals? Good. Let's print the receipt and leave with a human takeaway. Here is the simple final receipt for today's operating reality. 1 line per bucket, headline numbers repeated once now and only now. People, labor and benefits, all departments, $952,000 day. Gaming operations, non-labor, $428,400 day. Food and beverage, $285,600 day. Rooms, housekeeping and laundry, $238,000 day. Marketing, loyalty and comps, $214,200 day. Maintenance, repairs and capex reserve, $211,800 day. Utilities including power, AC, water, waste, $50,000 day. Add them together for the day's operating truth in full. Total for the day, $2,380,000 day. That is the price of comfort, safety, and consistent experience delivered. No per-ride math here because this isn't transit or buses, but the per-guest story still matters in design and pacing. What you felt across scenes is what these lines actually buy. They buy quiet handoffs at dawn and unhurried smiles at midnight. They buy cool lobbies on hot days and calm hallways on full ones. They buy room resets that feel invisible and inevitable to guests. They buy kitchens that hit right now without looking rushed at all. They buy security that feels present without feeling intrusive or loud. They buy supervisors who see problems 8 minutes before you do. They buy maintenance lists that shrink because attention arrived earlier. They buy dish pits that never flood and escalators that never bite. They buy the oxygen of buffers that protect hospitality from chaos. They buy curiosity because curious teams ask better timing questions daily. Curiosity buys precision. Precision buys reliability. Reliability buys trust. Trust compounds quietly into the gravity that marketing tries to spark. Gravity lowers friction, and lower friction lowers tomorrow's cost to deliver. That loop is the real math hiding behind today's receipt. You saw heat tugging the system, and the team smoothing it. You saw timing squeeze, and buffers opening the grip again. You saw gravity swell, and choreography keep the floor humane. Those are the levers you can feel without touching spreadsheets. Those are the levers that turn vague costs into practical choices. Open the doors early, or stage a shade line for comfort. Pack check-ins tight, or stagger waves to defend laundry timing. Lean into a headline event, or cap comps and protect recovery. None of these questions is abstract when you've walked the hallways. None of them is purely financial when guests are breathing the answers. Because dollars are votes for the experience you intend to deliver, and votes counted with clarity turn into outcomes you can repeat. A receipt this clean is not a trophy. It's a dashboard. It tells you where attention buys the next cheapest improvement. It tells you which bottleneck returns the most dignity tomorrow. Maybe it's ice ahead of heat. Maybe it's breaks ahead of peaks. Maybe it's staffing earlier, not later. Maintenance sooner, not after. Maybe it's a host's call the day before the crush. Maybe it's 3 minutes of slack hidden inside the check-in wave. Small levers, gentle hands, consistent timing, and steel-backed hospitality. That's how you make expensive feel effortless without waste or bravado. If you're a guest, this receipt reads like gratitude in numbers. If you're a manager, it reads like a map for tomorrow's calm. If you're crew, it reads like validation that craft beats chaos. If you're curious, it reads like proof that curiosity has teeth. A city inside a building runs on promises and precision. Promises are stories. Precision is practice. Cost is the language connecting them. We told one day's story so the next day feels smarter. Take one last slow lap through the lobby in your mind. Hear the soft compressor hum below the slot melody again. See the bell cart gliding without collisions in crowded space. Notice the door swing that never fights the air outside. Notice the bartender who never looks rushed pouring for 3. Notice the housekeeper who smiles because timing respected her route. All of that is what you just counted line by line. All of that is why the total makes sense without drama. If this breakdown helped, tell us what moment hit hardest today. Like this breakdown and comment your favorite behind-the-scenes moment. And if you want more, tell us which machine to open next. We'll follow the dollars, print the receipt, and keep learning together.